For the texture, I'll use a node called fractal. So just type fractal here and choose the texture. And let's rename this one. I'll call this eyeball iris fractal. And this one underscore UV. Okay. So now I need a way to apply this texture on top of the texture that's already here. And I only want it to be where the iris is. And I want it to, scale accordingly as we scale the main ramp here. So how do we do that? First off, we need to add something called a layer texture. And this works kind of like Photoshop. You have your layers here. The one that is furthest to the left is on top. The one that is furthest to the right is at the bottom of the stack. And so I can add mine here. By default, there is a green node here, but you can just delete it by clicking here. So now you can see my texture is filled 100% with the fractal. So I have my layer texture here, so let's call that eyeball layer texture. And I want that one to be plugged into my diffuse. Little mouse button drag, boom. So let's say IPR, and as expected, it doesn't look too good. But because of the, the stretching of the UV because of the displacement, this texture here actually looks pretty decent already. So I want to add back in the color I already had. So let's see if I can find that. This is the specular. Okay, so it was hidden, but I can always go here and find the color ramp. Boom. And I can drag that in here to the second slot, and I can simply set the fractal to multiply. So you see it just like in Photoshop, it's blending. Let's try, I can set it to add just to have a different result. And just so it's easier to see the iris, I'll make this a bit bigger. Okay. So obviously I need a mask for this fractal. So for that we can use the same trick that we did for the specularity. This one. And I can make a similar one, and instead of the color here I can input the fractal. So let's do that. I want to, I'll just make a new ramp so it's clean. Add a ramp. So this will be my, it's going to be a bit long name. Eyeball iris texture mask underscore ramp. Control A, Control C, Control V underscore UV. And let me see. For this node, I want to drag in the fractal. You see up here, now the fractal is there. And I want to make another one and do the same, so that I now have a bit better fall off here. And in the layer texture, I want to delete the fractal. Now it's just a color ramp, and I want to add back in this ramp. Sorry, select this here, and it's always going to add the layer to the far right. So I can middle mouse button drag and let go here to have it on top. And I want the blend mode to be multiply. And this, I want to change the color of these ones to white so that they are not blended. And actually I don't need this one, because if I multiply black with black, okay, if you at some point want to add, yeah, maybe we're gonna add color to this one, so then we would see the fractal inside the pupil. So I would like to have another one to stop it here. Let's see. So I'm just roughing it in as I want it to be. It's a bit hard to see here what's going on. So I think I want to have a bit of a gradient going in. So right now I'm looking at which one of these points I want the main controller to be attached to. I don't want the texture to go outside the dark ring. So I think I could have this one start exactly where the dark ring is, and then have a bit of an offset. Not too much. Oh, I added a new one. Oh, let me check. Just gonna check that both of them have the fractal attached. Okay. Okay, so let's do that. And for, I think, for this one, I want it to go all the way in, so I think I'm going to use this one at the edge, and then this is going to overlap a little bit, or is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, so I have a plan. Take this, here's the main ramp, show all attributes. I'm gonna clear it and add the two I have selected. And open this, and let's stop the IPR, script editor, clean history. I want this one, which I'm pretty certain is 0, to be attached to this one, which is 0. But that's easy to remember. Position of 0 to position of 0. Let's see, boom. And here, this one is number 1. And I'm just gonna add a slight offset. And we all know how to do this by now. Yeah, let's say 2, 0.02. And this should be position 1. And this one, I'm pretty sure, is 1. 1, yeah. And that's going to be this one, which is, let me make it bigger, number 3. Okay, so position 1 to position 3, and for the next one, which I guess is 4, that's 2. So position 1 to 2, position 1 to position 2, and add an offset. Alrighty. Start the IPR, and let's see when we scale up here, the texture follows. Okay, so there's a few things we can do. If you go here, let's expand this one. We can repeat the UVs a bit. So let's set that up to 3. I think that helps a lot. And we can go in here and you can play around with, for example, the frequency. See here, it's really detailed. If you go way down, it's more simple. Oh, that was not the one. I'm gonna keep it to something like this. Okay, so I want to add this pattern here to the specular as well to break up the lines here. So to do that, I'm just gonna expand everything on the shader, and I will find the one connected to reflection color and go backwards here, and this is the ramp. And so I want to do the same here. I need a layer texture. Okay, so Maya crashed. Luckily it recovered the scene for me. So that's just a good reminder to remember to turn off the IPR once in a while, once you're adding and removing nodes. Yeah, so let's continue. We need to make a layer texture for the specularity as well. And before we do that, I just want to rename this eyeball diff layer texture for diffuse. And let's make a new one, layer texture. And let's call this the same, but with the specularity instead. Spec. Okay, so let's plug this one into reflection color and make some more room here. I want this one and this one to blend. In this one, the color is going to be at the bottom, and then the fractal on top. So I'm just going to reorder, and this one is going to be a multiply. And let's see how that looks. Yeah, so see now we get some nice breakup in the specularity. Maybe it's a bit too much, so I can turn down the opacity. Maybe something like this. See. So now maybe I want to turn down the opacity a little bit here as well. I mean, you could really go to town with this. You could layer more fractals. You could also mask this fractal out with another fractal. Make more gradients. Yeah, so many things you could do with the procedural nodes in Maya. But I'll stop it here. There's just one little thing I want to fix. I don't like this highlight here. So I'll see if I can adjust the dark ring to move it in a little bit. Color ramp. Let me have these two hit 2, 3. Let me see. Maybe still keep here. So I need to think. This one I want to move in. Okay, so this is a bit tricky. Let's see. Color entry list. So 0 is this one. Oh, let me stop the IPR. Yeah, that's this one. And it's connected directly to number 4. You see this connection here goes directly here. And number 4 is it this one? Number 4 is the dark ring. So actually I want to add a little bit of an offset to this one so I can control it. Position of 0 to the position of number 4. And let's start the IPR. Whoopty, whoopty, whoopty. Let me turn off the layer texture. Just so it's easy for me to see. I'm also going to turn off reflection. Let's see, so I was working with position of number 4, which was this one. Okay, I need to look at this ramp again. So number 0, let's see how that one is controlled. Position is here. This is 0 position, just backtracking. It's also controlled by this one, so that's why when I move this in, it's not offsetting. So instead of being controlled by this, it should be controlled by number 4, because then when we add an offset to number 4, to the position here, this one is offsetted automatically. So let's see if we can add a little bit. Yeah, that works a lot better. 0, 8, 0, 0, 5, 5, 7. Yeah, okay, I'm just trying, I just want to get rid of that extra highlight there. I didn't like that. Okay, so let's turn on the texture again. And turn on the reflection. Okay. I think that is starting to look pretty cool. Maybe the rain could be a bit darker. So let me see, that would be number, yeah, that was number 4, of course. So what I do, I find number 4 here, go to color, and then select the connection, the input connection. And it looks like it's this one. Right. Yep. And let me turn on IPR again, and I see if I turn the value even more down. Yeah. That's cool, and I want to also check this one, which is 0.2. I just want to play around with the gradient here. So I go to color entry 2, and I see the position, and I follow this back here. Maybe make that a bit smaller. Okay. So yeah, next up I will start adding like a gradient here and adding some more noise, and yeah, just final polish, and then also set up HDRI lighting scene. You see it, it's important to check the different lighting conditions.